Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com, and I am here to bring you a special bonus live. Welcome to my live featuring the alternate projects that you can create if you'd like to with your July 2023 Fun in the Sun paper pumpkin kit from Stampin' Up. It is Saturday, July 22nd at 11 a.m. as I'm coming to you live, so if you're watching that during the time, you can log into your Google/YouTube account and join in on the chat with us, or you can sit back and watch. You can also, if you're watching from Facebook, you can chime in during the live as well. We have two moderators. We have one on YouTube and we have one on Facebook. Trisha Josephs is with us on YouTube. Yes, they came back for a bonus day this week. Trisha Josephs is a moderator on YouTube. If you want to tag her, if you want her to see your question, because sometimes, we miss things here and there, but if she's missing out on what you're asking, just type the @ sign, the A with the circle around it, and then immediately start typing her name, TRICIA, and her name will pop up. You click on it and it will tag her. Her name will stand out to her so she can see it. On Facebook, Lisa Marshall, you can tag her as well. And then we can get all of our questions answered during the live, because I'm not good at going into my comments and seeing them. If you're watching after the live, comment away. Tag me on Facebook if you want to. I can reply. So anyways, welcome. This is going to be so much fun. I can't believe we have lots of people joining in on a bonus Saturday. Weekends are precious in the summer, you guys. But, okay, I'm going to share step-by-step directions for these alternate projects. And what else do I want to mention before we dive in? I'll be using some extra supplies besides the kit. And if you don't have this kit, you didn't get in on it, or let's say you got it early and you used it all up already or whatever, you can apply a lot of these ideas to other products that you own. So it's so fun to see the comments. Thanks, you guys. I love it. You're saying hello. You're telling me where you're from, telling me about the weather. It is warm here today. Yeah, gotta love summer. Okay, for ease in demonstrating, let's go to the desktop right now. For ease in demonstrating, I like to use, with my paper pumpkin kits, the ergonomic blocks, because you do get a free one when you get your first kit. But rather than having to change the stamp out on this every time, I grab these extra blocks that you can get, and they're ergonomic, so they're easy to have in your hand. Also, you get an ink spot in your kit. I don't know if mine is still in here or not. We'll just open it up here. You get an ink spot, and I like to use my bigger pads when I demonstrate, so you'll be seeing me use this. The one tool that you'll need if you want to do the projects as Stampin' Up! Instructs with the little pamphlet is sometimes a paper snips for cutting twine or ribbon. There's no twine or ribbon in this kit, but that's like the only extra tool that you really ever need. This is a fun one because these cards are fun folds, and we always ask for that, and then when we get them, we're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot more complicated than I thought. So I'm going to walk you through, not all of us do that, but a few. So I'm going to walk you through the fold for these cards, but I'm also going to give you some tips on what I did with my kit cards, because I did a few this way, but I altered even when I was doing the kits as is, the kit as is. Oh yeah, just a couple other things to mention. When you get the kits, it's a monthly subscription, and you get like this full color little directional flyer with supplies list on the back, color coordinating projects on the back, or colors on the back, a sample of what the cards are supposed to look like, and then there's a link to a how-to video that Stampin' Up! Does for the kit cards as is. So I typically don't show those cards step by step, but I just want to walk you through a couple pointers that I did, and I'll walk you through the beginning of folding one. You get a stamp set with it. Like I mentioned earlier, you get ink with it, and you get all the consumables, all the embellishments, everything that you need in order to make those beautiful projects. The kits come to your mailbox, and so you don't even have to worry about going to some demonstrator's house and picking it up or anything. It's pretty darn convenient, and it's a great way to have a new crafting project every month. This is one of the card bases from the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold. And you can see here that you kind of like every card that you get, you want to fold this way, right? You want to fold it in half so you have a half card base. But this fold is actually different in the two different halves here. So you have what's called like a fan fold for these. There's some extra creases in here. So there's a crease here, 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 and here. So what you want to do is you want to fold this one that way. Get that out of the way. So you're going to fold that one, and you're going to fold this one in the mountain fold direction. Once you fold this one in the mountain fold, though, you need to go to the next crease and go to a valley fold. So you don't have to hold the thing completely closed as you're doing it. You just kind of go back and forth. Now you do a mountain fold again, and this one that we thought was a mountain fold becomes a valley fold. And then we have one more, and that's this one here. So all of these creases go up, down, like mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain, valley. And when you pull them all together in that mountain, valley look, and you flatten everything down here, and you flatten everything down here, and you grab a bone folder and you press it, then you've got this really, really fun fold type of card, a fun fancy fold. Let me get in there. I'm just going to crease all of those fold lines, and that's the way it goes on display. It sits up and it shows off all the fun little inserts that you put here. So there's a place to put an insert here, and there's a place to put an insert here. This is like a little insert, so a little tip on that too. They show you on the directions to put tape across here, but there is an insert where I feel like it doesn't have to sit all the way down. And so what I'm going to tell you to do is to put adhesive, and you get this kind of adhesive with it. It's really nice. So you don't have to use the seal. You just take this tear and tape and you lay it across. So I would say put some here, and then instead of putting it here, turn this piece over and put it on the bottom of that one. Because then when you've got those two pieces, you'll know that this one, no matter how high or how low you put it, it will still have two strips of adhesive going across there. So let's peel off the backing. And then if you have the water lining up, because this is not the piece that goes in here, by the way, but I'm doing this on purpose. If the water lines meet up, you can do that. You can adjust it up and down. I'm just going to go ahead and set this all the way into the base. So I'm not pushing it to the back yet. I'm just setting it in the base. And now when everything's lined up, I can press it down. And that's how you connect. Okay? All right, we're going to set that off to the side because I'm going to make a mention of that later on. And I'm going to bring in the kit cards. Here's a finished kit card. I call them a kit card because this is the way the kit instructs how to do it, right? So, oh yeah, these are my notes to make sure I mention things. I use dimensionals. Dimensionals don't come in this kit. If you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, though, you get them in various kits from time to time, and you always have leftover dimensionals and glue dots and things like that. So I stuck some dimensionals on this front layer here. This is an extra layer, and I just put dimensionals behind 1, 2, 3. I also stuck one behind this surfboard, and that way it creates a shadow and it gives more depth to the card. So that's where I put dimensionals on that one. I did it on all three. I also, on the instructions, they talk about the little crab guy having, you know, his claws around the sign. And then in another spot, they don't show it. So I love that look. The claws do open up, so you can do that. And then, oh, when I put my little crab guy on here, I made it so that when the card is closed, his eyes are just peeking above. So just thought that was a fun little cute tip too. Okay, so that's one of the kit cards. This is the second kit. Oh, another tip on that. Sorry. When you're going to stamp on the inside of this card, because it does actually have an inside, I would think ahead and do the stamping first on the inside of the card. No worries about being late. Didn't really dive in yet. That was Edie's comment. Okay, so I would stamp the inside first, just because when you flatten this all down like that, sometimes you have a little bit of a bump there depending on, you know, what's behind it. So stamp on the inside first, or write on the inside first, which is what I did on this one. So I put my own little words on there, happy retirement. because I wanted this card to be specific for somebody who I know. You've got other sentiments that come in that stamp set, so you can choose to use one on the inside, one on the outside. But if you are in need of other sentiments, Stampin' Up! Has a whole bunch of stamps. This stamp isn't necessarily like catered to this. The stamp set is not necessarily catered to this kit because the fonts are a lot different. But you can find stamp sets like this one that have a variety of different sayings. And sorry, it was on my table. But a variety of different sayings, and so you can find one that will work for you if you wanted to supplement. Okay, so again, write on the inside or stamp on the inside first. For my dimensionals on this one, I got a little crazy creative with it because I did put a dimensional behind the umbrella, but I put this flat to the surface because I knew I wanted this piece, which is extra, to have dimensionals. So I stuck that one up on dimensionals, and I also put the sign, this little extra layer, there's a sign layer there, up on dimensionals. That way when I flatten the whole card down, I have one here, and a couple here, and that's all the extra thickness that I have to my card, even though when it pops open like that, it looks like everything's coming out at you. Okay, for the last card, the last kit card, you can see I did something extra on the top here. Let me just talk about the dimensionals. I put 2 back here and 1 there, and that's it. This is flat to the side. And yeah, that was like the easiest card to put together. But I did want to say that if you want to have a detachable bookmark, you can use something like Hermafix Transfer. It's like a temporary or repositionable type of adhesive, and so I just stuck that on the back side and put a little bit maybe right here too, and that way when you give the card, it's in there. And then on the inside, again, I hand wrote. Great job on all that summer reading. I'm thinking you can make use of this bookmark, gently remove it from the rest of this card, and so they can just pull it away. When they have it in their hands, they can take and roll all this adhesive off. It just comes off real easily, and then they have this fun little extra bookmark to use for their summer reading. So how did I do that? I used the Crocodile or some simple little small hole punch tool, and I just stuck it right in there and punched somewhat towards the middle. Then I took some of our twine, and we have this double pack here, sorry, not twine, this trim. I have this double pack of silver and gold 1/8 inch trim. So I'm just gonna cut off a little bit of this with my ribbon snips. And then I'm going to bring, actually let's start in the middle here. So this is the back side of my ribbon. I'm gonna take and bring it together so I see the 2 back sides. I'm gonna bring the ends overlapping each other. Don't worry about what happens here. Start from the back, poke it through the hole, pull both ends, then take those ends. Now you get to straighten this out again. This little thing will straighten out hopefully. There we go. Then you're going to take these ends and you're going to pull them through that loop. And now you have a fun little bookmark. Now I stuck this on completely, so that wasn't the ideal bookmark card, but I just wanted to demonstrate that. Okay, so that's how you do that. Real easy, real simple. Okay, let's go back to the instruction sheet, and I'm flipping it over because I want to point out something. These here are little extra alternative project ideas that you can do with your kit. Obviously, there's some extra little supplies to use here and there, like extra cardstock. There's some embossing on this one, some sequins, little kind of like sprinkles that you can get from our online store or from the catalog. And then they made it into a shaker card, so they're using like this clear acetate on there. So there's fun ideas back here for inspiration. Do you see this one over here? Okay, without the hole punch and ribbon on it, let's just take the ribbon off so you can imagine even better. Just pull that off. that was the start to making this card. So what the designer for this card did is they swapped out. This is the same exact style of the card, but they took and swapped out the pieces. So like this card used the little palm trees, probably on the second level here, the little crab and the sign, and a shell, and a little starfish. And that's how you can put together your cards, just by swapping out the pieces. So that backside then inspired me to try one of the other cards and do some different takes on that. So that's what I'm going to show you next. I'm going to put this off to the side. So yeah, so be inspired by the background pieces, okay? You can get lots of different looks just by swapping out pieces. Some other extra things that I like to use with my alternates, just in case you're new to these kits, is I like to have like a tape runner adhesive, because you don't always get like tape like this. Sometimes you just get the glue dots and it's kind of putsy to put all the little glue dots on. So if you have either tear and tape or seal adhesive or even multi-purpose liquid glue, this is in my precision tip bottle. Hang on a minute. It comes looking like this. I just transferred it to a bottle that I can easily make tinier lines with. But multi-purpose liquid glue is a great all-purpose type of adhesive. Then again, like I'm using extra dimensionals. Sometimes those come in the kits. So I recommend having these things on hand. Some tools, I did mention the paper snips. A bone folder is great for creasing. The Take Your Pick tool is a handy tool for lifting things up, for making little holes. This is the gummy end. It's great for putting embellishments on. And then if you're going to be doing alternates for sure with your kits, then you definitely want to have this next one here. Sorry, trying to rearrange things on my table. This tool is our trimmer. And yes, it is a definite tool to have. I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see it better. A definite tool to have for making alternates, because then you can bring in cardstock, you can cut the cardstock that's in your kit and that sort of thing. Okay, what did I use to write the sentiments? I just used the black Stampin' Write marker, and I used the end that has the bullet tip, so that I could write all of those words on the inside. I used capital letters because the font in the stamp set uses mostly capital unless it's writing really, really tiny words like up there, okay? All right, okay. We're gonna dive in, and we're inspired now by this card, okay? Remember, this is the one I shared just now, and now I'm gonna go and show you this card done. I took and cased it. I cased or copied, that's the word we use in the paper crafting world, casing. So I cased or copied this card as the best I could by just looking at it. And there's some little faint starfish back here in the background. I've obviously used Pool Party cardstock, which is one of the colors in the kit. And you can see a faint amount of it in the clouds. I used basic white cardstock for the inside, and the Pool Party for the base. So I have a few layers of cardstock in there, brought in some dimensionals so that I could bring some shadows to the card. This one has a dimensional right on the back side of this section, the back side of the shoes, and the back side of the chair. But notice that I don't have two dimensionals thick because, and I can think, yeah, there we go. So you can see it's just the sand on the right side that's lifted up. That way, again, I just have a one-dimensional thickness going all the way across. Then the sentiment is stamped and embossed. So we have a little bit of advanced stamping on here, but otherwise, the rest of it's pretty simple to put together. So we're going to do a card similar to this, but with Daffodil Delight. So I'm bringing in not only my trimmer and the tools that I just shared, but here are some cardstocks that you might want to have on hand if you're going to do the version of the card that I did, the one that I'm going to show right now, the one that's in the back on the pamphlet, and then a third one, I should say, because I'm going to show you a third one too. So I have scraps of a couple colors, and then I have more full sheets of some. We're going to bring the Pool Party and Melon Mambo cardstock off to the side because we don't need those right now. And this is that scrap that was on the Pool Party card for the words for embossing. But we will need some white, some daffodil, and just a little hint of pecan or pecan pie. All right, so let's start cutting. For our base piece, we want a piece that is 5.5 inches. So I'm putting my cardstock into the trimmer at the 5.5 inch mark, making sure that this is flat across the top, and I'm cutting with my dark blade. Then I want to cut it in half again. So half of 11 was 5.5, half of 8.5 is 4.25. So I have it to the 4.25 inch mark, and I'm going to cut again. So now I have 1/4 of a sheet of cardstock, and that's the base of my card. For the front layer of the base, I want a piece that is 3.5 inches wide, because in your kit you have, sorry, let's pull these out again. All these little card layers here are 3.5 inches wide. You can see that, right? So we've got that and this piece. And now I'm going to take my basic white, and I want to cut it so that it's 11 inches long and slightly bigger than 3.5 inches wide. So I'm going to go to the 3 3/4 inch wide mark, and I'm going to zoom out even further. Okay, so here we go. We're going to cut, and then we're going to use that later on another card, and then we're going to score at 5.5. So all of our pieces are 5.5 inches tall. I'm going to use my bone folder because I want that crease to be a little more crisp here. So let's bring in the bone folder and flatten that down a little bit more. Okay, now we're just going to work with this layer. And the first thing we want to do is we want to stamp the background. So the background, we're going to keep the same background that we had on the blue card that you saw. So I'm bringing in the starfish. That's the stamp we're going to use. And I'm using Versamark ink, because if you use Versamark ink, then you don't have to have Daffodil Delight ink, you don't have to have Pool Party ink, and you don't have to have the Melon Mambo ink. You can have just one. I am doing, am I going to do alternates for June Paper Pumpkin? I did, Debbie. I did the June ones. Yep. So, okay, now we're going to ink this up, and we're just going to stamp randomly, kind of coming down from the top. I do alternates with every single kit, even when I have COVID. There was one kit that I didn't do a video for, and that was because I had COVID, so I was sick, and then I had no voice for 8 days. That might have been the June kit, maybe. No, it wasn't. The June kit, the one that was the June kit was the one with the vases. I have a video for that one. It was the one right before where I didn't have a video because I couldn't talk, and I was out of the country for 2 weeks. Can't do videos very easily that way. So, do you see what I did? I only did stamping in this corner and this corner, but it's going to give the illusion that we have a flow of all of them going across, okay? So, yeah, I have done videos, or at least alternates, I should say. I've done alternates with every single kit since day one, since March of 2013. I almost forgot the date. It's been a long time. Okay, after we've done that, now we're gonna bring in some pieces from the kit, and this is where we get to see some goodies, some doodads, okay? Your kit comes with all your consumables, like I said. It comes with embellishments. Here's those fun glue dots, your envelopes. Look at how pretty those envelopes are. And then we've got all these pieces that you punch out. Let's just go ahead and punch out a sailboat one right now. Let's see, you got 3 sheets of those because you have one for every card. Let's go ahead and punch out a little starfish. Aren't they cute? Sunglasses, crabs. Then we want to punch out Sorry, I'm just peeking over here. We don't need any sentiment strips for this one because we're going to make one. Look at that. Adirondack chairs, right? Is that how you say those? And then we've got, here's the sand. Just fun, fun, fun. We don't need one of these on this card, but I just want to show you. Just a fun layer of sand. Isn't that cool? Here are the little umbrella guys here, these layers, and the surfboard layer. These are the ones that go across the front of the cards. We'll need those for later, so we might as well have those out. Oh, another envelope. And I think we're going to use that piece, and we're going to use, and look how easy they are to punch out too. So super easy. We're going to punch out one of these guys. See, and this is where that, oh, I got to show you that too. This is where that tool that I was telling you, the Take Your Pick tool, comes in handy, because you can go in and just remove the centers of these die cut pieces. So simple, just by poking with that tool. Okay, so we need those pieces, and then here's the card bases. You can see how easy it is to interchange all of them and make just different cards based on just moving your pieces around. Okay, so next we're going to bring the trimmer back in, and we're going to cut this one, because this one we can actually use on two different cards. I noticed someone was asking, was that Lisa? That it will be in the store on Monday. Yeah, the online store. Sorry, I forget to put my little layers, my layers up on my videos. But yes, you can shop products in the online store. You go to my blog and click the shop button or whatever, and you can get there, and you'll be able to see a section called Paper Pumpkin, and there's like add-ons and kits and refills and all of that. So if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you can purchase things in that section of the store. I'm going to cut right above this blue mark here. There we go. And usually with every kit, they typically will have a refill kit. So a kit that doesn't have stamps and ink, that refill kit typically comes out on the Monday or Tuesday following the 20th of the month. So we're hoping, those of us that love this kit, that we can get more of the consumable parts of it without having to get another stamp set and ink. Those are called refills again, and we're hoping that they'll be available on Monday, so in 2 days. I'm going to cut 1 inch off the bottom now too. I'm going to save that one for my third card that I'm going to share with you, but I will be using these in this card. And why did I cut there? Because I want to put a boat in between. So let's start building these pieces up. We'll just use our seal because it's quick and easy, and I found it just now. Okay, so we're just putting seal across there. Again, you can use the tear and tape that comes in the kit, and we're going to lay this about 3/4 of an inch from the top. Excuse me. Hang on a minute. I got to get some water. I just did another presentation this morning in a group, and forgot to hydrate myself after. Okay, then this one's going to go on flat also, and that will be right about here. And then this one's going to go on with dimensionals because I want it to. So we'll just put a few dimensionals going across here. If you want to do more, you certainly can. But I would at least do 3, maybe 1 on the bottom, 2 at the top or something. And that will create a shadow. And we're going to make this one come about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. Summer sounds. Somebody's having fun with their automobile or motorcycle. Could you hear it? It's funny because I ask that in some videos sometimes, and everyone's always like, I don't hear that. Okay, I'm putting seal across the bottom, but then I'm going to put a dimensional right here at the top. Why am I doing that? Because this is going to get stuck to the bottom layer, which has a dimensional on it already, and this is going to get stuck to the top layer, which doesn't have a dimensional on it. And we want to make sure that they both stick down So as I put this on, I'm actually going to come over a bit, because if I'm too far to the middle, we're not going to see that boat. And we don't want to go too off to the side either, because I want to keep all of the tree leaves, but this here we're going to trim. So we can turn it over and we can use the back side of the cardstock as a guide to trim that excess off. This is where I like to use my multi-purpose liquid glue instead of glue dots, because it's just a quick little dab of glue that I need. I think I need more water, you guys. So we're going to stick that on, and we're going to make that dip below the little line here, because I like how the boat kind of goes up in this direction, so I kind of wanted something going down to create some more, instead of having a flat bottom, I guess is what I'm saying. We need a sentiment on here. So now we're going to do some embossing. Those of you who have not heat embossed before, it is a magical, extraordinary experience. You are going to love this. If you have heat embossed before, you're still going to be mesmerized, because we always are. We love heat embossing. Heat embossing involves a heat tool, which looks like this in the Stampin' Up! World. Plug it in, and it has an on-off switch. It has a low for doing, like, you know, if you were going to take and make ink flow on that alcohol ink background stuff, you would have it on low. Have it on high, it blows a little bit faster and maybe even hotter, I don't know. But okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to take our stamp, and we're using the one that says Sending Sunshine To, with the colon in it. We're going to grab our Versamark ink again, because Versamark can do tone on tone. But thank you for sharing the video, Tony. I appreciate that. Versamark can do tone on tone. So if I stamp this onto here, you're going to see the ink deepen the color of the cardstock, just like we did with the color here. So it gave that tone on tone look. So I can do this on Melon Mambo cardstock and get a pink on pink look. I can do it on the Pool Party cardstock to get a light blue, light blue. So we're going to do that right now, and you're going to see what happens. So we're stamping. I'm just going to stamp it down in this bottom corner, and it's already deepening the color of it, but that ink stays sticky for a while. So that's why it's wonderful for heat embossing, because I'm just going to bring in my white powder, make sure, yep, it's white. So I'm bringing in my white powder, which I've transferred to just kind of a little temporary plasticware, so that when I take and put the powder on with my little tiny spoon, that I can tap it right back into the container. So I've just kind of gotten into the habit of keeping my embossing powders in something like that. But now you can see that powder is sticking to the inked up area. Now the magic. The magic. Cindy says, embossing is magic. It sure is. I'm heating it off to the side first, just to make sure that the heat is going. And then I'm going to go on top, and I'm going to go on bottom, because you can kind of see the paper start to curl a little bit. So I like to heat it from the bottom every once in a while, heat it from the top, and you wiggle it. Do you see that? It's already starting to get that whitish color. You wiggle it because you don't want it to scorch your powder either, and you don't want to overheat. You just heat to the point where it has changed color and smoothed out, I should say, too, because it can change color, but you also got to get it smooth, and we have it smooth and ready to go. Now we can come in and we can trim with our scissors, or we can trim with the trimmer, the paper trimmer. I'm just going to trim with my scissors because I want it to look handmade. And I also need the scissors to come in here and snip off that little word to, because I want it just to say Sending Sunshine. Sending Sunshine. So you see how much space we have at the bottom or the end of that? Let's just kind of do the same thing here. There we go. There's our Sending Sunshine. And we're going to stick that onto with our seal adhesive. Here it is. We're going to stick that onto our card right here. in the little sand area. Now, if you didn't want to do any embossing, you don't own the heat tool, I recommend a black ink, like the Tuxedo black ink. And you can just take and stamp directly onto your sand with the Sending Sunshine, and look what happens if you do that. You can stamp it so it's right up to the edge and the word to is omitted. So you don't even have to worry about stamping and cutting it out on something separate. Just stamp it so that the to is off the edge, and then you've got your black on the sand. So this layer now goes onto our white layer. So we're just going to add seal adhesive, or you could use multi-purpose liquid glue or the tear and tape, and we're just going to bring it right up to the top and right to the bottom with 1/8 of an inch border on each side. So let those ideas on the back of the flyer, the back of the direction pamphlet, inspire you. That's what I did this time. I was totally inspired by those and went off of those for my ideas. So this is, oh, you know what? Then you want to put embellishments on. Forgot embellishments. So that's where the Take Your Pick tool comes in. And we're going to grab our embellishment packet. I love how they keep them protected in these little baggies too. You can use these baggies for so many other little craft things once you're done with them. So don't throw them away. So you can take and push onto one of those embellishments to lift it up, and then stick it down onto your card. We'll put another one here in the wad. Oh, I think I want it under or just peeking out. There we go. That's what I did over here. And then we'll do another one right here by the starfish. So you can put a sentiment or image on the inside. Maybe you want to stamp the, if you have the Daffodil Delight ink, which you would because it's in your kit, you could stamp another one on the inside in that yellow color. So there's that card. And then again, the blue one was the one on the back side that inspired it. And then I want to show you the third idea. And the third idea is this one here, using Melon Mambo for the color, because I wanted to bring in some of that pink from the sunset. And I also wanted to add a pink shell there. So you see this little strip along the bottom here? That's what I used to make the sand. I used that fun piece that has the sign on it, but I didn't stamp on the rectangle. You get these sentiment rectangle pieces, and they're supposed to layer over the top of your sign. So you have your sign like that, and I, again, just stamped on there with the Tuxedo black ink. But you also have these guys, which are on the sentiment piece. So you have a bunch of these, and that's what you're supposed to be stamping on according to the kit directions. And then you can layer it on here, and if you make a mistake, of course you got two sides, right? So this way it's like a nice extra little bonus. But you can stamp on here if you feel confident enough, or you can stamp on this and have the two sides. Got a little shell down there. All of this was just added with straight glue, but again, or adhesive. But here I put the flat adhesive, and here I put a dimensional, because this layer is added with dimensionals. This is all one piece. Versamark ink, Versamark ink, Versamark ink, although we do have the daffodil in the kit. So that's that. Okay, now we're going to move on to another idea. Where should I stick these? Over here. We'll put them over there. Table's getting full. I need someone to come over. Help me out. Okay. Next. Sorry, just checking my notes here. Okay, we're moving on to another card. This one is not inspired by the rest of the samples on the back, by the way. If I was going to do one more, I would probably turn this into a faker shaker, where you put it in a clear envelope, because this is a real shaker, like using acetate and everything. But you can Google, faker shakers and see how to make them. But I don't have those fun little embellishments that go on the inside. I don't have those shaker bits. So I refrained from doing that one. I feel bad. Okay. 3 exclusive cards. Okay. So after I made those 3 cards, I said to myself, what pieces do I have left? Because this is what Rachel does. Myself. This is what I do. I like to take all my pieces out of my kits and sort them out so I have one of everything. And I used up those pieces. And then I said, what do I have left? Well, of course, I had my card bases left. I didn't use any of the card bases yet. My card bases, and then there were some other pieces that I didn't use on the cards that I'm going to demonstrate for you today. All these pieces here are going to be used in my exclusive project idea that I am sharing with my subscribers. So if you become one of my subscribers through Paper Pumpkin, you get exclusive ideas. And so I'm making 3 other cards with those pieces. Just wanted to give a little plug for myself. And the rest of the things that I have left are these. So what do I have left, Rachel? I have, I guess I already punched them out. Remember I punched these out earlier? I have my umbrella, I have my surfboard piece, I have a starfish, a shell, and I have my 3 envelopes. Because when you are in the alternate world of using kits, if you have any kind of decoration on the flaps or the front, you tend to cut the envelopes up and then you just bring in the basic white envelopes for mailing your cards or whatever. So thank you, Deb. And Cindy, thank you for sharing the video. By the way, if you are commenting, like let's say you share the video and you comment shared, you're going to get entered into a prize drawing in most of my lives. Today, I'm not doing a prize. I just want to let you guys know that. But I love, love, love that you are contributing to the conversation and making me feel like I'm not the only one here. So thank you. All right. So yes, we're going to use up envelopes. I'm going to bring this piece in, this piece, and we'll set these off to the side for the last project. The last project is super simple. So we're going to move on to one that's a little bit more complicated. And for that project, we need to have an extra envelope, like I mentioned. We need to have some 12 by 12 cardstock. And I'm using the crumb cake color because it is a color that coordinates with the colors of the kit. I've already trimmed that piece to 2 inches wide by 12 inches long. We're going to put some score lines in there. I'm also bringing in a bonus product, and I have this listed in the blog post that's going to be connected to this live in just an hour and 20 minutes. So at 1 o'clock Central Time today, that's because I want to make sure I take pictures if I need to, but at 1 o'clock Central Time, you'll be able to go in and see photos of all the finished cards and projects that I'm sharing. You're going to be able to see the supply list in visual format. Right now on YouTube, you can see the list of supplies. If you want to click on any of the links, you can. The links for the supplies are live. The link for the blog post is not yet. This is included in the links. And what it is it's not completely credit card thickness. It's a little thicker, but you can call it a pocket light. And by moving this little light bulb section here in a perpendicular position, it lights up, as you can see. And it's great to travel with. It's great to have maybe in your kids' rooms next to their desks or their side tables, I should say, so that if they want to have a quick light, they can just grab this and they don't have to own a cell phone when they're 3 years old, and they can light up, their room area if they need to see something. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to give this to them when they're 3 years old. But yeah, it goes on instantly, and there's a way to change batteries out too on the back side. Okay, so we're going to integrate that into it. This is just a little wrap that comes with it. And we're going to use a stamp from the stamp set, obviously. So let's take this piece and our trimmer again. And now let's put some score lines in here. Okay, we're going to score at just under 2 1/8. I'm going to zoom in so you can see better. Thank you, Trisha. She just reminded us to hit the thumbs up under the video. I appreciate that. So 2 1/8 inches is here plus 2 little notches on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. So here's 2 1/8, and we're just gonna go right before it. So when I say right before it, I don't mean the mark that is 2 1/16. That's the one right before it. I mean between those two, okay? So just under 2 1/8 is right here. So you can kind of see it's right in the middle. And now we're gonna score. Now we're gonna bring it to a more exact measurement, 5 1/2, because that's the measurement of the width of our card, because this actually flattens down into this envelope. So it could be mailable in probably a bubble mailer, because if you're gonna enclose this, you know, you don't want that to break in the mail. But it can be put into a regular size envelope. We can flatten it. So we're gonna score it 5 1/2 inches. So it was, again, just under 2 1/8, 5 1/2, and then we go to 7 5/8, but this is where we have to adjust again. So 7 5/8 inches is right here. Here's 7 1/2, here's 7 5/8, and we're gonna bring it to just under, so not to the 16th inch mark right before, but between the two. So just under 7 5/8, and then we're going to score at 11. So two of those score lines make sense, 5 1/2 and 11, because when you fold it at those two marks, you're getting the width of a regular card that fits into the envelope. But the other two marks are just a little weird because you've got to fit this guy in there when it's closed up like that. Okay, and we want to make sure that little thing fits. Okay, so that's that. Now for our umbrella piece, we're going to flip it upside down. We're going to put this flat edge against the top section of our trimmer so that it's at 2 1/8, but just under. Okay, so just under 2 1/8 is going to bring us, and we just score at the bottom here. We're not going to score the envelope top. It's going to bring it to right in this little section where the where the umbrella kind of does its own thing off to the side here. Do you see that? So we're not even taking the umbrella and maneuvering it too much. It's just going off to this side while the sand and the beach ball kind of go off to the other side. So there's that. And then one other piece is our envelope. So we need to trim down our envelope. We're going to trim off, let's see here, our envelope is 5 3/4 inches wide. If we want our piece to be just under 5 1/2, we want to cut off about 3/8 of an inch, which if you cut that in half, it's 3/16. So you guys love me because I do so much math. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. You're going to go to this mark. The 16th of an inch is 3/16 of an inch. And that way you're going to trim it evenly. So you're going to trim that off on that side and this off on this side. And then it will fit inside as a layer. Now, the one thing that might bother you is this little gummy part of the envelope, because you can see it's shiny. Plus, I kind of want the top to be a little flatter. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to slice off visually. I'm picturing this on one side of my trimming blade and the rest on the other. And I'm just cutting that off like that. And now we still have some waves up there, but we don't have that shiny part. So that means that this piece is now going to be 4 1/4, because we're going to bring it all the way down to the bottom on the inside of our base, and we want it to be wide enough to go to the top of the card area. Okay, so we're done with that. The only other thing that we have to cut on this is some ribbon. So let's start assembling. We've got our little bits and pieces here, and we're going to connect like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put some adhesive right here with my seal or my multi-purpose liquid glue or the tear and tape, and I'm folding it in half to connect it. That's the easiest way to connect something that's going to fold in that direction, okay? So some of you are saying, where can I get this kit? Okay, you can't get the kit anymore because it's Paper Pumpkin. Paper Pumpkin subscribers, they take a chance. It's like you got to be up for the surprise. So you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you get the kit, and you go online and you see what alternates are out there if you don't want to make the kit cards as is. This one here, like, I would totally have made these cards as is, but I like to create, so cause I just think they're really fun. But yeah, then you go out there on the internet and you look for other ideas so that you can make something that maybe works for whatever desire you have or need that you have with your cards that you have, right? Okay, so that's done. Now I want that to be on that side. So what do you do about it now? Well, you can subscribe now. So subscribe now, and then you can get in on the refill kit if it's available on Monday, right? I do have a link in the description of my video. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, but I want to stamp on it first. I'm going to take my stamp that says Hello Sunshine, because when you're in the dark and you want a little light, you grab the sun. Hello Sunshine, and we're going to stamp that. Oh, there's my finished one. Okay, we're going to stamp that. You can see through these stamps too. They're photopolymer in all the kits, so you can see right through. So there we have our Hello Sunshine stamped on there. Now we can adhere this to this piece here, and I'm going to go up a little bit higher, and then I'm going to have a fun little embellishment going across here. So we're going to take our seal adhesive, again, here it is, and we're going to go all the way to the edge over there, all the way to the edge over here. And I'm just putting adhesive up to the highest part, which would be the sand mound up here, because the sand mound is going to touch the top of that 2-inch thick crumb cake base. I could put a little bit more there too if I wanted to. I'm not going to worry about that though. So when we lay this on here, here's the top, here's the bottom. I'm laying this down. And then I'm looking to make sure that the base of this looks even all the way across, and my score lines should meet up. Everything looks good. Grabbing that ribbon that we had before, and this time I'm going to use the gold. I'm grabbing, and my grid paper is perfect for this, but I will take a ruler out. And actually, you know what? You get a ruler in your direction sheet. So you could use that, although I don't have a flat surface on my table anymore, so I'm just going to use this. And we're going to measure out a little over 11 inches and snip that off. With another length of ribbon, probably 6 to 7 inches, maybe 5 if I'm really good. I'm going to tie a bow. So I've got 2 little rabbit ears there that I'm overlapping and doing a knot with. And now I've got a bow. And I'm going to use my ribbon cutting scissors. My one with the ribbon on it means it's nice and sharp. I know, crafters, we own so much, don't we? We even can have 2 scissors. Love it. It's so much fun, because that way you don't dull your scissors. Let's take the back side of our ribbon. There's a white core kind of exposed on the back side. And we're going to lay our ribbon down like this. Oops, so that it's together, side by side. And I put my fingers down to hold it still and put adhesive across the back side of this. Let's move it a little bit. Do it again. Okay, now I can take and separate these 2 strands. Liquid glue does not work too well with putting adhesive on ribbons, just so you know. So you might want to get in touch with seal adhesive, or tear and tape is a great investment too if you're going to run out of that piece that's in the kit. Now I'm just laying this across the whole whatever this is, the base of the card, and I'm trying to be even here. When I come to this spot, I want to match it up with where it's going to meet over here, and then I can take and trim off any extra, because we don't even need it to overlap, because we're going to put this one down with a glue dot that comes in the kit. So we're going to stick this on the back side like that, peel off the backing, roll it over onto itself if we need to make it a little skinnier, and that's going to go here. Okay, and the last step is to put this little insert in. Oh, we forgot to put the score line in that. The score line, you know what? This is thin enough where let's not even worry about the score line. Let's just make sure it's nice and flat and it can fit in there. You see that? It can fit in there. And when we fit it in there, we're going to make it push up to the top, like I'm doing now. See that? So we're going to put adhesive on the back side, and I'm going to put it right next to this piece so I can see how high up I can go. I can go up about that high. And now I'm going to take and bring it in here so that it's not touching the back yet. And I'm going to insert it down in there like that. Bring it to the bottom where it lines up with the bottom edge of the crumb cake. See how it's lined up now along the bottom edge? Okay, and then I'm slowly going to just flatten it down. All right, so there's the card. Oh, there's one other thing. Now, I did this before I started making the card for the other one, but you can do this now. I'm going to just show you what I did here. I cut it. I cut the umbrella off because otherwise it's not going to stick in the card envelope, right? Now we can fit it in the envelope. But that's so horrible, Rachel. I know. So this is what you do. You cut it and then you add it again. It's really easy. You can use the glue dots that come in the kit, or you can just put a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue there. And now when you add this, you can bring it down so that it's within the blue sky. Did I scare you guys? So that can fit into the card. You can flip it over. You can write on the back side anywhere here, here, or here. There's a beautiful little rainbow to make everybody happy. And then that fun little light. Oh yeah, let's flatten this in that direction. See, you didn't even have to put a score line, just flatten it. The fun little light can get enclosed with your gift, with your card, and then you can just call them and give them directions for how to light up your little fun nightlight holder. Oh, that's sweet, Bonnie. I'm the prize? Thanks. I love it. I love it. Only 2 pair of scissors, Rachel. Yes, Trisha. No, I have many more. I was just trying to, yeah, I have these, and then I have a whole drawer full of them, too. I like the long-bladed ones. We don't sell them right now. We had in the past, but I like these for doing, you know, like long cuts that are straight without the trimmer. All right, we have one other card. I hope you guys are still hanging in there. We have one other alternate that I want to share. Let's put that one up there. I'm tidying my desk. Okay. I'm just checking my notes here too. And I got hair on my face. All right, so yes, I just finished that one, so we'll put that over there. We're now going to do a card, and I've already trimmed the sides off the envelope in the same way that I did before, but this time we're keeping that rounded section. We're going to use crumb cake as a base again, 8.5 by 11, and I need to zoom out because we're way too close. Okay, so we got our 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Let's bring in the trimmer. You could use 12 by 12 if you bought the neutrals pack of 12 by 12 so you could get the crumb cake. So you could just cut it down to this size. It's going to be 4 1/4 by 11 for a card base. We're going to score at 5 1/2. And then we're going to do another trim, 2 trims actually. So we're going to, this is the front, this is the inside. We're going to trim again, and I want this to be 2 inches tall here. So this would be 2 1/4 inches tall here. So I can bring it to the 2 1/4 inch mark, set my cutting blade right down here on this middle score line. My cutting blade is the dark one. So I'm just setting it down so that it's right over the top in the middle there on that score line. And I'm going to push away, and that's cutting that piece right there. And you can see it started right at the score line. And then I can take and put it back in here again, line everything up at 5 1/2 inches on this side, and I'm removing this top portion of my card. So I'm going to come right up to that, and you can kind of feel when it connects. And if you can't, you can take it out and you can use your snips and just go in there. But now we've got that removed. For this layer, I'm going to keep the rounded part. Remember, I was telling you I want to keep that this time. And we're going to cut, because this is already at 5 3/8 inches. We're going to cut this one 1/8 of an inch shy in the other direction. So normally our card is 5 1/2, but we have 1/8 of an inch difference there. So we want to have 1/8 of an inch difference here as well. We're going to score so that the top of this is meeting that 4 1/8 inch mark. Okay, so there is our layer that goes on the inside, and it's light enough where you can draw on it. So we're going to tape that to the inside. Remember, I told you this is a very simple card. Now, if you're going to do my second version, which I'm going to show you, you don't want to adhere this yet. You want to do your heat embossing on this piece. So then you use, and I'm just going to explain it before I show it. You use a dauber. Oh, here it is. You use a dauber with the Versamark ink. Ink up the dauber all over the surface up here so that all this water is going to get shiny, because you're going to then use clear embossing powder. Sprinkle that on, use the heat tool, heat it up. Then you've got your fun card that's got shininess all over the top. And then this isn't so obvious, this little strip of adhesive. It's too bad that you can't, well, I don't know, maybe you can remove the adhesive from an envelope. I would love to know if any of you know how to do that. I instead covered it up on my second card. But for this one, I'm not going to worry about it too much because water is wet. Just don't lick your card. So we'll put our seal on the back side. And now we've got our rounded top. So we're going to bring our paper snips back in, and we're going to go along so that we're about 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Because remember I mentioned 1/8 of an inch difference? Well, that's when you put them side by side, corner to corner, but when you put them on top of each other, you have this 1/16 of an inch difference all the way around. Okay, so there's that. What do we do to the front of the card? Now we bring in that layer that looks like, remember these are the pieces we haven't used yet? So now we're going to bring in this layer, and we're going to stick that down with our adhesive, and just a little bit on the base. Add this to the bottom. You could do this with the umbrella piece too. Okay, the umbrella piece, you could do the same thing. With these guys, we're going to bring in the mini dimensionals. We have things called mini dimensionals. They're just slightly smaller, and I want one on the back side of each of these. And then these little guys will be able to pop up, and I didn't have to trim any of my other dimensionals. So I'm just going to lay them like this, kind of overlapping each other there. Fun. And then I'm going to bring the waving hello stamp. Here that is, with my tuxedo black ink. Or you could use a sentiment strip if you want to, but I was trying to use up the last pieces from the kit cards so that in the end, if you make this card / project, these three, and then the 3 exclusives that I'm sharing with my subscribers, that's 8 cards that you can get from the pieces of 3. And you get 3 sets of 3. So you could literally get 24 cards from one kit by doing it the way I'm showing you. I'm going to stamp that here. You could stamp it on your blue, but I just think it looks much better on the crumb cake on this version. And then let me show you the other version. So the other version looked like this. So there's the difference. I embossed the same way that the designer for the sample on the back of the brochure did. So white on Melon Mambo. Cut it out, put it on dimensionals so it sticks up a little bit. On this one, I just stamped it with the black. So either way looks great. Do you see the difference here? Here's the shininess on the top of the water. So all that water, and you could go even deeper. You could go deeper, but I wouldn't go too deep with your embossing of clear powder because you want to be able to have a place where you can write on the inside. So maybe down to the score line, that faint little score line that's in there. So that's that. I'm going to bring these out so you can see them. We got so much on the desk. It's a mess, you guys. It's a mess. There's this one. That one's more 3D-ish. I kind of like that. We'll just set that one like that so we can see it better. No flappiness there. Can we see everything? This one you can't really see very well. There. No, I still can't see it. Yes, you can emboss the envelope top all over. Absolutely. All right. All right, so in the description of my video, there is a link to becoming subscribed to Paper Pumpkin. It's my personal link. So if you have a demonstrator, you'll want to click on their link instead. Sign up with your demonstrator to get in on Paper Pumpkin kits. Be a part of the Paper Pumpkin fan club on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, then be involved in Pinterest or at least do Google searches, because if you put the name of the kit and then you put Stampin' Up, so Fun in the Sun, Paper Pumpkin, Stampin' Up, as your search words. I wouldn't do it like right now because everyone's just now getting their kits. I literally got mine Wednesday night. So, and there's still people that don't have theirs yet. So there's not a lot of things being posted yet. This is kind of the initial phases of the sharing. But if you go there, say next week on Google, Pinterest, the Paper Pumpkin Fan Club is already bursting with ideas. You'll be able to see other alternate ideas that are posted by lots of people, not just demonstrators. So check it out and see what they have to share. So these are my few creations. Oh, don't forget about the bookmark card. That's a very simple variation of the kit card, right? So do you like this? Keep it simple. Stamp on crumb cake with yeah, I have my little notes are all over the place. What else do I want to tell you? I went over that. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channels because I do go live every week, typically Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Time. So just adjust that to your time zone. And Trisha on Facebook and Lisa on Trisha on YouTube and Lisa on Facebook are usually with me every single week. So you'll get to know those ladies quite well. They do a great job, don't they? And we do prizes on the weekly Wednesday lives. So you can get on that. If you see any of my past videos, comment away. It's fun to get to know you. You're my social group. So I love reading your comments and interacting with you. Reach out if you have questions. What else do I want to mention? Am I forgetting anything, Lisa and Trisha? I'm looking through my zillions of notes that are in front of me here. They're $23.50 in the US. These kits are $23.50 in the US plus tax. So depending on where you live, the shipping's included in the price. And you get to control which months you get your kits too. Like if you want to suspend, let's say you're going to go on vacation for the whole month of September. You can suspend your account for that month, which makes you have a month off. Or you can cancel if you're going to be gone for longer. And then you come back and then you can re-up your subscription again. You just log in again and start it up again whenever you want. There's no commitment, no obligation. You don't have to purchase a minimum amount. The next kit, I do want to talk about that. And I have a little flyer in one of these. The next kit is called Meaningful Flowers. If I can find that flyer, it might be in this one. Seriously, somebody come here and help me find stuff. I don't know where I put the flyer. Meaningful Flowers. It looks really pretty. It's got more of a feminine flair to it. This one has more of a whimsical, fun. Yeah, it's gone. It's pretty darn cool though. I'm excited about it. They give you these hints, and then everyone's like imagining, what are we going to get in the kit? What do you know? What are they only give you hints like with the little graphics and banners, and then they tell you a few little hints about it. They tell you the colors that are coordinating. Thank you for your sweet words, you guys. I appreciate this. I'm stalling because I feel like there's one other thing I forgot to say, but I don't know. Anyways, this is my website. If you want to come visit my website, in fact, I will bring you over there because I do have the ability to do that right now because I want to show you something. We're going to go to my blog real quickly. It's coming up. There it is. Okay. And it's in work mode right now. I could work with it. It's in raw form right now. But I just want to show you that there's this thing across the top. So right now you're at the home page. If you click on blog, you get to see lots of ideas. If you go to Paper Pumpkin though, you can go down to recent Paper Pumpkin posts, older ones, and those areas are going to show you ideas for every single kit. This older one is actually organized in a list. I need to update it because it's only updated through October of 2022 right now. But seriously, if you need ideas for any past kits, it will go all the way back to 2013. And you can see lots and lots of inspiration for all. I'm obsessed. I really like these kits. All right, I'm going to let you go because I can't think of anything else that I meant to say, and hopefully I got it all in. But take care, everyone. Have a great Saturday. And this blog post will go live at 1 p.m. Central Time. That's in about 50 minutes. So visit back there. And on Facebook, I will put the description over in the video right after we're done with this live so that you can see it. There was no flyer in the Paper Pumpkin kit. I thought there was, Gloria. I swear I saw it. Andrea says, look on the counter behind you. I know, but it's not there. Okay, take care, everyone. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.